you have to be quite crazy to start a company. And in Switzerland, where the legislation is the worst in the world, I think, really complex. When I was studying, one of the most visionary professor brought us a challenge. He told us, tell me how we are going to feed 10 billion people in 20 years. And it was a real challenge because we knew perfectly that was not possible. I'm an agricultural engineer. For years and years, this subject was in my mind. So I thought to do something about the revolution of the food system because we had to do and we have to do.
Hi, Elisa. Thank you so much for coming to the Fun Tech Talk series. How's it going?
Hi, yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And share with us your experience as a founder, right? Any startup, any company has a long founder, sometimes very tough story behind. This is why we have the founder talk. We talk about the founder more than the startup. As we start, would you like to give a short intro to yourself, where you come from, how it all started your life as an entrepreneur?
I started thinking about this topic on what I founded my startup, that is insects, quite particular. When I was studying before I graduated, because one of the most visionary professor brought us a challenge. He told us, tell me how we are going to feed 10 billion people in 20 years. And it was a real challenge because we were studying how to produce the food. And we knew perfectly that was not possible. and Actually, I'm an agricultural engineer. For years and years, this subject was in my mind. But in Europe, the topic was still pioneering. Uh, Only since 2017, the law permitted to sell the products from insects. So I thought how to do something about the revolution of the food system because we had to do and we have to do. And I had a moment in a certain time to think about it. And I did a feasibility study in Switzerland, where I was living. And I found that a lot of things uh, needed to be done. So there was a lot of work to do. And I had the opportunity to join a contest, people, many opportunities that support me in the feasibility study. So I founded a team just to work on the feasibility study. Six person supported me in this, and I found the answer. Okay, we can do. We have to do. And we started looking for money to found the company. And in 2019, the company has been constituted with my co-founder Elena, and we collected the money to start the lab and to acquire the authorization to do this work.
It's a long process. It takes a lot of time, and also the strength to take the path to be an entrepreneur. So, how was the feeling? Did you feel scared? Did you feel excited? Something in between? Lost?
I was so excited because maybe I'm a little bit crazy, because to be excited in front of such pioneer um, contest and problem, issue and challenge, um, you have to be quite crazy to start a company. And in Switzerland, where the legislation is the worst in the world, I think, really complex.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated. Safe place, strong policy, but yeah, it's pretty it's tough. Uh, would you find the initial struggles? Would you find the most difficult part as you started?
Um, yeah, many struggles. For example, never enough money, and the credibility as an entrepreneur was to be built, and without money, it it's quite easy to be trustable and to be quite okay. If you have a lot of money and you build a big company, you hire a lot of person, but without money you have to demonstrate that you can act as an entrepreneur. And the responsibility uh, to manage a company without money, as I think any startup, I think is much more than to start with some the money and all the things that you need. As for example, if you take the company from your father.
It's a different story. Yeah? Starting from scratch, it's totally different. So it's very challenging. It's very easy to be credible when your father did everything before you. You just follow up.
Yeah,
And even to be credible because your surname will do the job for you. But
yeah.
credit on your own, that's a totally different story. What about the balance? Being entrepreneur has been straightforward disaster as many for the private life.
There is no balance. It's a crazy life. And if you are a mother and wife, it's much more challenging. And for this, I think we have some more resource, because you are an entrepreneur, you have person to be paid and responsibilities, and but you have your family at home that is
Yeah.
waiting for you. So you have to use your energies in a very care way. You have to, to take to save your energy. Otherwise, you can employ.
Yeah, yeah. You can burn out very easily, especially when you need to follow the money all the time to get funded. And it's a complicated life being an entrepreneur. On one side, you need to work. On the other side, for yourself even more because you have a family to take care of. And
Mm-mm.
after you need to raise the money, need to execute, go back to the investors. It's pretty tough life. That's true. That's why very few succeed. The majority of them, they all fail. The day when you burn out, it's very easy coming soon. Uh, what about the many founders I've been talking to? I've been talking to so many founders so far. Many, they try to give to them kind of routine to keep in balance. I wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, four, someone five, someone eight. I don't know. I do some exercise, and after I drink my phone, some kind. Of course, when you travel, when you don't travel, some kind of routine that gives you some edge where to touch. Don't get completely lost in between all the tasks.
Yeah, it's quite important, because your body and your mind have to be in equilibrium. And so it's important to do some sport or physical activities, and to keep your mind quiet and in balance. For example, I used to wake up so early to do all this stuff in at home, because evening was always a surprise. So morning for me is really good to produce and to do, and also to think. So I I wake up so early, did all the stuff, and bring my son at the school. Then drive for 40 minutes, 1 hour at the phone. So time is precious. So all the phone call were for that time. And office, then say hello to the staff and do a little control in production. So go down and have a look on everything, because after that was very difficult to go down. The office was up. And then yeah, appointments and documentations, office work. But in the evening was very important to be at home and stay with my family. um, for sure, you never can mm, avoid to think about the work, but you have to try to stay with your family without think at work, to the work.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the timetable is always a surprise, because you go to the office and some problem is waiting for you always.
You're the one who has to manage all the problems more. You have more problems to manage than the pleasure to enjoy. There is
Yeah,
not as when you start a company. That's what it is. It can be seriously nightmare for a while.
yeah.
Uh, Now there are someone who told me a few times. I really told I was not qualified enough. There is no way I can go. I done an absolutely mistake. It was not for me. I took the wrong choice, and now I need to go for it because I can't give up anymore. So this is something that applies to you. Have you ever thought I'm not qualified enough to do this? Why done this?
Oh, yeah, many times, because you can't know everything, but you have a lot of different problems to solve every day. So you ask to yourself, okay, but how can I get this know-how? And so, yeah, it's very important to be supported by good friends that can make advise you something very, very easily, and you can trust the advice. And for sure, I was so sad about the compliancy, and about the things about the shareholders agreements and all the contracts that you have to establish with investors and partners. That was a really lack for me, because I was really not prepared. Although I had an MBA master and I studied a lot in my life, but I'm not a lawyer. And this stuff was a really surprise, more complex than I could thought. And I found myself really lost when I had to establish the agreements. In fact, it has been my word, my word issue, my word a mistake. And this means that you can't know everything. It's not possible to be prepared on everything. So you have to ask support and pay the consultancy. So you have
Yeah.
to have the money to pay the lawyers and the consultancy. The accountability, for example, is not easy, but you can learn quite a lot. But mm, other stuff, as the agreements with investors and partners, are, yeah, you
Yeah,
risk you risk a lot.
you need a lawyer behind you for sure. You can't take too much risk. Uh, what do you like to do the most when your daily life at work? Which are the tasks that you really enjoy? The one that's very boring you don't like to do?
Yeah. I like so much create connections and establish partnership. So to find the solutions, and to find the resources to join a target. Um, just to, for example, if you have to present something that you have not, you have to establish a good partnership before, and have a good partner uh, in front of you to share the know-how and to share the responsibilities. I love to do this, and I think I'm very good to do. Uh, And the word thing for me was the compliancy. Yeah, everything that is in
Boring.
yeah, boring, boring, boring. And
Okay.
details. I don't like to stop so much and read long documents, and I prefer to do active, to stay active. And
Compliance can be compliance, accounting, probably are the most boring stuff to do in business.
mm,
Uh, how do you keep yourself motivated? Because if there is something very important for founders at the very beginning, especially when they start, is motivation and resilience. How do you play with these two very important skills in your life?
yeah, I'm a resilient person. Is really one of my characteristic. Um, I usually not scared about things. I do also sports that could support me in this, and you can't be scared, but you have to be care. You have to look for help and information when you don't know one thing. You can't be scared, and so you, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, you have to find solutions and not to be scared.
And what about failure? How do you cope with this shadow of failure?
The play is also to fail. You
Yeah.
can't play a startup without to think to fail. um, I failed a lot of time. Every time you learn something more, and you are more aware about what you are and where you are. So you have to fail. Maybe thinking about the mm, my mm, my life. Um, I think if you have no risk, you have no fail opportunity, you don't live. So for me, life is to have new opportunity and to have new challenge. So I have to risk with my my know-how and very carefully, but you have to risk.
I mean, entrepreneurship is by definition risk taking. You need to try to understand how to balance the risk, which is not easy at all, as to say.
Mm,
I've done my equity match, which is my last one, is 6 startups in my life. And it's complicated. In the regardless how many funds you have, funds, as you said, is not enough. Never enough unless you have 1 billion in your account. So it's very, very difficult balancing everything. And at the same time, of course, you feel the risk behind you, but you should not think about, but it's there. And 98% fail. So it's a big shadow. I mean, outside, you have a family, husband, I suppose, kids. How do you spend your time outside?
you have to reserve the time first of all,
Yeah.
and yeah, I like to stay in nature, and I have a big family. My origin family is very big, so we have a lot of opportunity to stay, but the quality of the time with kids for especially is very important, because mothers, and in Switzerland is very not usual to have mothers as an entrepreneur, uh, when the kids are so young. Um, so it's a different culture. I'm Italian origin, and you have to fix the time, to reserve the time. Absolutely, you have for the family.
What's your take on the tech industry? I mean, 99% of money today in venture capital, they go to tech.
Hmm.
There are so many conferences that now are uncountable, seriously uncountable. The number of founders out there is almost outnumbering the number of employees. It's unbelievable how much is going on, but this is in terms of noisy. And after we move straight to the point, very little. is delivered. So, what's your take on the tech industry? Is doing enough, or a lot of talk and still too little delivered? You are in agri-tech business. Any kind, I mean, tech industry as because in venture capital, majority of the money go to tech. But I'm talking about the ecosystem or startups as a whole. Is something that is working well or can be done more? There are people who believe that investing in startup are money wasted.
I had a lot of issue with investor that doesn't understand what is an investment in a startup. They
Yeah,
think to buy a building. So I had to reject a lot of person that was asking for insurances, guarantees. What kind of
yeah,
guarantee
yeah.
do you want in a startup? You have to believe in
It's not
it.
a million. Yeah.
Let's go to buy some building, and you will not enjoy about your investment because you have nothing interesting to see, and you will never take 20, 30, 40% of return, sorry, multiple multiple of 20. uh, is and This part of Switzerland is full of this kind of investors. This is something that we all founder we would fight. We have to avoid to lose time with this kind of
Yeah.
people and to share know-how and to share ideas, because there are a lot of persons that present themselves as investor, but they only want to know what you are doing, and they doesn't want to risk their money. So it's really important to filter this kind of opportunities of investment, because you will lose a lot of time, a lot of your energies to speak with mm, people that are not really investors and they have no the right mentality. And the system, the
Yeah.
contest, the government is not supporting us in it. Um, for example, there are a lot of programs, accelerators that match these startups with the wrong investors. They have to filter, to clean up,
Yeah.
absolutely to avoid this kind of people that also has the expectation to take the company as soon as possible. So to own the company without to pay it.
It's not easy. I mean, understanding what means investing in startup and the high risk involved is not for everyone. So you're right. If you are talking to investors, they normally invest in real estate, just forget. They would never understand. And they ask guarantee, all this kind of stuff. So like, bank loans. It doesn't work in this way. And there is no guarantee at all. So it's simply time wasted.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
let's move to climate change. Are you concerned?
yeah. Well, sure, is my main concern about outside my family for sure. Um, Consider that the topic of the insects is famous now, because it seems that the proteins could come only by insects, but we are late to produce enough proteins from insects. This planet is going to be absolutely gray and not good for human being. We all know that the time to solve the problems is already past. We only can try to optimize the condition, the futurable condition, and to ensure some food. We will not save the planet anymore. The time is gone, but we can ensure something little better to the next generations. We have to do, because we are part of the fail strategy that is now around us. The weather, the effect on the climate is really easy to be understood now, but now is late. So we have to do much more to ensure the food. I'm very sad to say, but we will not save the planet. I want to contribute anyway, because is my most desire. I have to do. I feel to do.
You're right. Unfortunately, we are very late and we have an obligation to fail. But again, we should have done this many years ago and we are still debating. So I'm not sure how much we can do more. Anyway, we still need to try. Do you like reading books?
Yeah. It's my way to stop the mind.
Do you have any particular author that you like in book?
Oh yeah. Oh, the last book this year that was incredible for me, and first time I read. It's The Count of Monte Cristo, Alexander Dumas. Was a way to yeah to stay in another story, a clean story without challenging. And I loved also Ilaria Tutti. She speaks about women, very strong women in crazy stories, and so she can empower me in doing better and better.
What about movie? Do you watch any movie? Do you have any time to watch sometimes movie? And if you have any favorite actor?
Yeah, movies are much more difficult, but I have in my heart the movie called Dead Poets Society, because Robin Williams was incredibly bringing the with strengthness and a lot of effort to take from these guys the best of them. And as mother, for sure, it has been really a good experience. But I'm not used to see a lot of movies, and I have no TV, and I love to go out and stay in the nature when I have time,
Much
or
better.
to sleep.
It's much better. Indeed,
Sleep.
it's much better. What about what's the best lesson that life gave to you in all this time? There is anything that you really understood that was very much, I mean, a serious lesson that we stay for you with you forever.
uh, that I have to learn to accept more compromise. Yeah.
Not
Mm,
it's not easy. That's true.
mm.
It's not easy at all. What's your greatest wish? What do you wish the most for yourself, your family, and for the world?
Have an effect on saving the planet.
Let me close with a recommendation. If you want to recommend anything to all the founders watching this podcast, what would you like to tell them?
Yeah. First, that a founder has to think about really at the beginning, and do not forget about that the investor, when arrive, is bringing money. uh, but it's much more important the terms to get this money than the money themselves. And we have to take care about the shareholder agreements and the governance required from the investors. Um, the company you made, uh, you know better than everybody, and you have to be really conscious. You have to know that if somebody is bringing some money, he's bringing some support. He is not
Yeah,
buying it. When they will buy, they will own the company, not before. So you have to spend time and money to ensure your rights and to protect and preserve the future of the company. And if you are a woman, you have to take in mind that we have an extra gear and you have to use it.
Elisa, thank you so much for coming to the Founder Talk series. It's been a very great pleasure for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you.